The Phantom of the Muppet Theater by Ellen Weiss, illustrated by Manhar Chauhan. It was the night before the big new show at the Muppet Theater, and there was still lots to do. Fozzie's tie needed washing, Piggy's dress had to be hemmed, and Gonzo had not finished rehearsing his spoon juggling while being shot out of a cannon act. Piggy leaned over the balcony outside her dressing room and called down to Kermit. "Oh, Kermie," she said, "could you please help Ma? I need a few people to move my wardrobe out of the way. I think Foo-Foo was somewhere back there." A small yapping noise came from behind the wardrobe. "In a few minutes," called Kermit. "I'm really busy right now." Piggy sighed as she looked over the balcony. "Don't worry, Foo-Foo," she called to her little dog. "Someone will save you." Just then, Piggy heard a heavy scraping from her room. Her wardrobe was being moved. Out popped Foo-Foo, yipping loudly. He raced out the door and hopped into Piggy's arms. "Thank you," Piggy said brightly, peering into her dressing room to see who had come to her aid. But there was no one there. Piggy felt a strange chill. Outside in front of the theater, Scooter was raking leaves off the path. He stopped to rest for a moment and put his hands into his pockets to warm them. What was this? There was a note in his left pocket. "Scooter," someone had written. "Please check the leak in the roof. Look for it right above center stage." "That Kermit," Scooter chuckled to himself as he climbed the long winding stairs to the roof. With all the thing he has to do today, he still never stops thinking about the theater. Scooter opened the door to the roof and climbed outside. He made his way slowly to the area above, over the middle of the stage, and sure enough, there was a nice-sized hole. Scooter hammered down some new shingles. "There," he said. "Now nobody will get wet during the show." It was a beautiful night, lit by a million stars. Scooter sat down on the roof for a few minutes. He was happy to be there. He loved working for Kermit at the Muppet Theater. Then Scooter got up to go downstairs. As he did, a little breeze tickled him on the back of his neck, and he thought he heard a noise. "Kermit?" he said uncertainly, looking at the trapdoor. "Is that you?" But Scooter was alone, at least as far as he could tell. Meanwhile, downstairs, Gonzo was rooting around in a large barrel full of props. "Janice," he called because he had just seen her nearby. "Will you do me a favor and hand me a flashlight? I can't see a thing in here." A flashlight was put into his hand. "Thanks," he said to Janice, not removing his head from the barrel. "I'm looking for that big plastic ball of fungus and, oh, here it is." Gonzo straightened up, holding his fungus, but when he turned to give the flashlight back to Janice, she was nowhere in sight. "That's funny," he murmured. As he headed back to his dressing room, he felt a chilly wind wrap itself around him. "Window must be open," he muttered to himself, looking up. But the window was closed. A little while later, down in the basement, Fozzie was looking for a box of light bulbs. "Gosh," he thought to himself, "I hate to come down here. It's dusty and it's dark and... Ugh!" Suddenly, Fozzie fell down the big hole. Everybody knew about the big hole in the corner of the basement, but everybody always forgot about it. And that's just what Fozzie had done. Now he was wedged in up to his waist. "Help!" he moaned. "Oh, help!" But he knew nobody would be able to hear him. All of a sudden, Fozzie felt a pair of strong arms circle him under his arms, grab him tightly, and pull him out of the big hole. Fozzie, shaken but relieved, peered into the darkness. "Animal?" he guessed. "Is that you?" Animal was the only one strong enough to pull him out like that. But nobody answered. Upstairs, the band was setting up. It was time for the final dress rehearsal. "Okay," announced Kermit. "Everybody on stage." One by one, the cast straggled in. First, Piggy appeared. "Thanks for getting my wardrobe moved before," she said to Kermit. "I know you were busy." "Gee, Piggy," said Kermit. "What are you talking about? I never got around to it." "Well, then, who did?" asked Piggy. She was starting to feel very strange. Then Scooter came in. "Hi, Kermit," he said cheerfully. "Thanks for putting that note about the roof into my pocket. The leak's all fixed now." "Scooter, I never put a note into your pocket," said Kermit. "Well, who did?" Gonzo was peering into his cannon when Janice came in. "Hey, Janice," he called over to her. "Thanks for handing me that flashlight before. I tried to thank you, but you were gone." "That's really nice of you, Gonzo," said Janice, "but I've been rehearsing with the band downstairs. Are you okay?" "I was okay," said Gonzo. "Now I'm not so sure." The trap door from the basement opened up in the middle of the stage. Up popped Fozzie, looking dirty and confused. He shook his head to clear it. "Oh, Animal, there you are," he said. "Was that you who pulled me out of the big hole?" "Big hole?" echoed Animal. "Me? No." "Gosh," said Fozzie. "Then who did?" Everybody looked at each other. Gang," said Kermit, "do you get the feeling that something strange is going on around here?" "I'm not sure," said Scooter, "but I have a feeling we might not be alone, Kermit." "What do you mean?" said Piggy, shivering slightly. There were 2 cackles from the box at the side of the theater. Statler and Waldorf were sitting in their usual seats, waiting for something to go wrong. "The theater is haunted," laughed Waldorf. "I always knew no live audience would stand for the stuff you put on." "I'll bet your audience will be full of ghosts tomorrow night," snickered Statler. "That's right, they'll all be yelling, 'Boo!'" Waldorf chimed in with glee. "Well, gang," said Kermit, ignoring Statler and Waldorf, "ghosts or no ghosts, we have to get back to work. There's nothing more important than putting on a good show." "That's right," everybody agreed. And so they worked for the rest of that evening and through the next day, hammering, sawing, sewing, rehearsing, and running around. They didn't even have time to think about whether or not there was a ghost. At last, it was showtime. The audience was packed with excited people. The lights dimmed and the curtain went up. A little crooked, a little squeaky, but it worked. There was music from the band, there was dancing and singing, there were funny jokes, and the show rolled along just fine. The audience loved it. Finally, they got to the part near the end when the lights would go out, and then, for the grand finale, Gonzo would be shot from his cannon. Down went the lights. Boom! Went Gonzo's cannon. "Help!" yelled Gonzo. "I'm stuck!" The audience laughed and clapped. They thought it was part of the show, but the other performers knew it wasn't. There was Gonzo, dangling by 1 foot from the ropes overhead. He was in real danger. Kermit thought fast. "Take a bow, everyone," he whispered. "Quickly!" They all bowed. The audience thought the show was over. They clapped, and Scooter hurriedly closed the curtain. "Now," Kermit said as soon as the curtain was closed, "we've got to get Gonzo down, in a hurry." "I could try climbing up there," said Scooter. "It's too dangerous," said Kermit. "Those ropes are old and moldy. I don't know if they'd hold 2 people. "Gonzo, jump! Animal, catch!" bellowed Animal. "No, Animal," said Kermit. "You might miss. Besides, he's all tangled up." As they stared up at Gonzo, who was turning a bit bluer than usual, Kermit suddenly noticed a shadowy something in the ropes above. "Look," he said to the others. "Am I seeing things? Or is that somebody up there?" "It is somebody," Piggy gasped. "But what is he doing up there?" The man slowly made his way over to Gonzo. Then he began to untangle Gonzo's foot from the ropes. "Put your arms around me," he said. Gonzo clung to the man for dear life, and whoosh, they swung down and landed safely right in the middle of the stage. "Nice costume," Gonzo said to his rescuer when they were both on their feet again. "Although it's a little dusty." Achoo! "Thank you for saving Gonzo," Kermit added. "But who are you?" Kermit stared at the man. Somehow he looked familiar. "My name is John Stone," said the man. "That's strange," Piggy said. "The name of the man who built this theater was John Stone." "At your service, lovely lady," said John Stone, bowing low. "That's it!" Kermit suddenly gasped. "I know why you look so familiar. There's a portrait of John Stone in my office, and you're exactly like him." "But John Stone built this theater in 1802, Piggy gasped. "Correct," said the man. I suppose you could call me a ghost, everyone said together. I'm afraid that's true, Johnstone sighed. I've been haunting this theater for nigh on 200 years now, but I do not usually interfere, unless I see that I am needed. Mr. Stone, Miss Piggy asked, why have you stayed in the theater for all these years? I just could not leave, Johnstone replied. I was an actor in my day, and this theater means a great deal to me. Why, I played Hamlet on this very stage. Besides, he added, you put on such a wonderful show. Thanks, said Kermit. You wouldn't mind my staying here for another 100 years or so, would you? Johnstone asked. Oh, no, everyone said, not at all. Thank you, Johnstone said, and if you never need me, especially you, lovely lady, he added, turning to Piggy, just call. I'll be nearby. And with that, Johnstone ever so slowly disappeared. Oh, wow, said Janice. Did I really see what I think I saw? Said Fozzie. Said Kermit. The clock struck 12. One by one, the Muppets drifted over to the door, each lost in his or her own thoughts. Kermit was the last to leave. As he turned the key in the lock, he paused. Good night, Mr. Stone, he whispered, and he thought he felt the lightest breeze on his cheek. The end.